Hello everyone, welcome to this new video. So today we'll have a breakdown for this trade on the gold chart. It was executed, I think, on Monday or Tuesday. Since we have received a lot of questions about this execution, the fractal wasn't clear how we located and how we traded. This was the execution right here on the YouTube channel. This was the level of the execution, and we have closed the trade at this lows right here. So it was short from this level to target this lows, and our stop loss always on gold is just 20 pips. So I have received a lot of questions, a lot of charts from followers, and I have noticed that there are a lot of mistakes, there are a lot of problems with the understanding of fractal and specifically the self-similarity. So before we explain the fractal right here, I need to mention that some people have tried to trade this copy. So they took a copy of this movement right here. Okay, so we need to go to the 1 minute time frame so we can get the exact copy, but it's not a problem. So they are waiting for the breakout of this low right here, the same breakout right here, since they have this movement self-similar to this one, and then this uptrend. So they were waiting for a long position right here, and they got surprised by getting stopped out at these levels, okay? So first of all, this is not fractal. I don't know what is the model right here that you are trying to trade. So if you are considering this one as an L in one direction or maybe an equal high model, it's not accurate. This is not the structure of any of the models. In addition to this, the self-similarity right here, it looks good. It looks self-similar to what we have right here, but this is the issue, okay, that we'll explain later. Why, when you trade the self-similarity, and even if you focus on the scale, sometimes you will get stopped out every time, okay, because there are some hidden tricks, some informations that you should understand the right way. So let's move to the fractal right here that we have used to trade. So what we have used on this trade was a scaled fractal. It was located right here. So this is a copy of the fractal, okay? Some people will try to scale it in this way, so that's wrong. Some people will try to take it somewhere else, and this is also wrong. I need to have the right mechanism of understanding how I take the copy, why I choose to look to this area right here on the live chart when the price was moving, and how I will scale it also, okay? Because every fractal has its own rules, okay? How you scale it, how you trade it, when you take the short, when you take the long, it depends on the model, okay? So I take the fractal outside and I will try to understand the self-similar points, the reference points. So right here we have this shape with the higher lows. So it was the same one right here with higher lows. And then we have this push to the upside, and then we are waiting for this to happen, okay? If we take the copy and we fit it on the chart right here, so this movement fits with this movement exactly, and this is what we are looking for, okay? And from there, we can have the short position, okay? So this is a scaled fractal, of course. This is how to trade it. This is how to scale it. Something very important right here, as you can see right here, how it's identical to the chart, okay? This small copy right here was 100% identical to the copy right here. If your fractal is not exactly self-similar and exactly scalable in this way, you are messing around with fractals, okay? You are not trading fractals, you are trading something else. And here, at this moment, we need to talk about the subject of maybe today's video, the meaning of self-similarity. I see a lot of people trading fractals, but they don't understand or they don't know why we choose self-similarity. Why self-similarity looks like this? Why sometimes I get stopped out, like what happened with this copy right here? Some people saw that this is self-similar. I agree with you, it's self-similar, but why I will not take the long position right here? Why I will not think about taking a long position right here, targeting maybe this highs? because there are a lot of issues with this copy right here. It's not located on the right place of a fractal. It doesn't have the same scale as this movement right here. It doesn't represent any model. So even if I have all the self-similarity and this rules and these conditions, I still can get stopped out if I don't locate the right fractal at the right place, okay? So you need to understand what is exactly a self-similar movements, okay? So for those who are watching for the first time about fractals, and also those who have experience or who claim to have experience with fractals. Some people have messaged me, I have experience in fractals for 3 years, 4 years, but I'm still struggling. So you are doing the wrong thing, okay, easily, okay? So you have an understanding of the self-similarity the wrong way. So to explain this in details, try to pay attention to this part of the video. It's very important and it can be a good start for you if you want to learn more about fractals. So a set or a signal is self-similar when rescaling a part of it returns the same object, okay? This is what means self-similarity in general. But we need to understand that there are two different types of self-similarity. Okay, maybe most of the people will hear about this for the first time. We have two different types of self-similarity. We have the exact self-similarity, and we have the statistical self-similarity. So when we talk about exact self-similarity, we are talking about geometric self-similarity. And when we are talking about statistical self-similarity, we are talking about a stochastic process. Okay, so as far, I think it's simple. So for the exact self-similarity, we talk about pure mathematics, okay? These fractals or this exact self-similar fractals are computer-generated fractals, okay? Like the Crouch curve. Maybe some people have an idea about this. We can see it right here on this picture. So this is a Crouch curve, as you can see right here. If, for example, you look to this part right here, you can notice it's self-similar to this part right here, the same way this part right here is self-similar to this one. And this is a geometric self-similarity or exact self-similarity, okay? It's based on pure mathematics, as I have mentioned, and it's also computer generated, okay? You can do this with Matplotlib on Python or any other system. But when we talk about the statistical self-similarity or the stochastic process, we are talking about magnifications that are only probabilistically the same. So what does this mean exactly? Let's explain this point because it's very, very important. And this is one of the hidden secrets about fractal geometry for those who have done some researches about this topic on a high level. So if we want to understand the exact self-similarity the right way based on mathematical functions, we need to understand the equation that define or shows how the exact self-similarity works. So I will maybe use some terms in French because this is how I studied this topic in university. So maybe it's a little bit hard to find the translation and translate these terms. So the equation for the exact self-similarity is S equal to U de I multiplied by phi de I en fonction de S. So what does mean exactly the S, the U de I, the phi de I? So the S right here is the fractal. So we can call it also the set or the curve or the surface. And U de I right here is the union of the image of S under all the maps. And what is phi de I is the similarity map, okay? And if we want a clear definition for the phi de I and what is a similarity map, it's an affine transform that shrinks by a fixed ratio and may rotate, and also we can translate it, okay? So this is the function for the exact self-similarity. And this is only applied using a computer, okay? We can only use it to generate geometric identical shapes, okay? Now, if we want to understand more the statistical or the stochastic system, so now let's move to the statistical or the stochastic self-similarity. And it's based on a completely different equation. So the equation for the statistical self-similarity is x a to t equal, right here we have the d, and we'll explain why we write it in this way later. And it's equal to a exposé de hash, and right here we have x to t. And this function right here, of course, is valid always when we have a equal strictly to 0. So what does this mean exactly? Or these terms or these components, x to t right here is a real valued stochastic process indexed by time the t right here. Okay, so t means time in physics or mathematics. And the a right here that we have mentioned, and we said that it should be strictly positive, and the a is the scaling factor applied to the time axis, okay? So what is the h right here? The h, we have explained this before, it's the Hurst exponent. So the Hurst exponent, or we can call it also the self-similarity, and we'll understand later what is the reason behind using the h right here and what does mean. And for the d, of course, right here, it's unequal in distribution. And this means that the random variables have the same probability law, not necessarily the same sample values, okay? That's why the statistical self-similarity is completely different from the exact self-similarity. So for the statistical self-similarity, we can talk about a lot of things like the Brownian motion. You can type what is Brownian motion and you can see the representation, the graphical representation for this. But the statistical self-similarity right here means if you speed up time by a factor A. And that's why we say that the scaling factor right here is applied to the time axis, okay? A multiplied by t. So if you speed up the time by a factor A, you can restore the statistical law of the process by multiplying the amplitudes by A to h, okay? So this is simply what does mean. Maybe this is a little bit advanced for someone who doesn't have a big background about mathematics, but this is not a problem. What I want to say from all these explanations right here, if you can understand a little bit what we have said, that statistical self-similarity is completely different from exact self-similarity. So what we see on the markets right here, on the Golden chart, for example, and what we are looking for is statistical self-similarity, because we can't find an exact self-similarity on the markets, okay? Sometimes someone asks, can I see 100% self-similarity on the markets? I say no. Why? Because we don't have exact self-similarity on the markets, simply because we have mentioned before that the exact self-similarity is computer generated, okay? So if you are trying to look for 100% self-similarity on the markets, you are on the wrong path, okay? So what we are looking for exactly, we are looking for statistical self-similarity. And already this is a very, very big topic, and maybe it needs months to explain this mathematically and statistically. But what we have done, that we are looking in this in our project in Simple Fractals, that we are looking for exact self-similar patterns by statistical way, okay? That's why right here, when we have this copy that we have used to trade this area, this is a geometric shape, okay? And maybe you will say that what you have said before is contradictory to what you are saying right now, that we can have 100% self-similarity. The idea that simply what we have done, we know that we have exact self-similarity. So what we do, we go and we look for the exact self-similarity, and then we analyze the self-similar shapes that we have statistically or probabilically. And what we have done later, that we extract from this geometric shapes, okay? That's why right here, it's a self-similar shape to this movement right here, but you still get stopped out right here if you take this trade, okay? Because this is self-similar by the exact self-similarity, but it's not statistically self-similar to this area right here. I know that this is maybe confusing for some people, but what most of the people are doing, they are looking for self-similar movements, but they don't know if this movement right here is statistically self-similar to this one right here. And this is why most of the people see that they have, for example, a fractal in this way, and then on the chart, they are waiting for the same thing to happen. They execute a long position right here, and they get stopped out, okay? So it's not impossible to learn this by yourself or to understand the exact and the statistical self-similarity. You need to do at least a master degree in statistics and probabilities on the financial markets. You can find a lot of programs like this in Paris, but don't try to go to ChatGPT and give him these equations, waiting that he will give you an indicator or something like this. I will not say it's impossible, but good luck with this, okay? So ChatGPT will not help you with this, okay? Unfortunately, you can't, because I have seen a lot of people trying to do this using ChatGPT and cloud, all this stuff. It will not work. So just try to understand things the right way, to build the right understanding of the self-similarity merged with the scaling factors and also with the right statistical methods behind this. And this is what we have done. We made a shortcut for all of this through some models that are self-similar statistically to the bigger picture on the chart. So that's it all for today. I hope that this idea is clear. It's a little bit hard to understand or confusing, but this is what geometric fractals looks like behind the scenes. So thank you so much. Have a great day. See you next time.